You are listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast exploring Scripture and all things related to it. New episodes are released daily. For more information, check out glossahouse.com and subscribe to our channels on Spotify and YouTube. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to Proof Text. I'm Michael Halcomb here with the Sensei James Smith, and this is an episode of 10 questions. And JM, you doing all right?
I'm doing well. I am doing good. How are you? How's everything out in Hawaii?
Yeah, man, I'm doing all right myself. Just did a conference paper last week. I was supposed to be in Chicago for the Center for Pastor Theologians, but I wasn't able to get out there this year for my fellowship meeting, so did it online.
What was your paper
on? The title of the paper was Understanding, Defining, and Quantifying Love.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's about a 12,000 word paper. I'll be going to Cincinnati sometime in the next few months to be giving a similar kind of presentation, but different as well. So yeah, man.
That's cool. How many pages is 12,000 words generally?
That's 20 pages single spaced.
Okay. My brain can never make that conversion in my head. It's like acres. I don't know how much an acre is. So if somebody says they have this many acres, I'm like, okay, that could be a lot or it could be a little.
Dude, I'm the same way with like inches too, right? Like somebody's like asked me, hand me the quarter inch wrench or hand me, I'm like, dude, it makes no sense to me. Frustrates my father-in-law to no end when we're trying to work on some.
I imagine it'd be hard around the shop. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just never been able to get that,
I think there's certain things our brains just don't wrap around very easily, and it, the different measurements. But for me, it's anything that's like area, like square footage or acres, and if it's and word count. Because I just got asked to write something, and for the first time last year, and they said this many words, and I was like, "How many pages is that? What are we looking at here?" I had no clue. But for you writers and publishers, I know that's the lingua franca for you guys.
Yeah. This, like I said, an episode of 10 questions. I get 5. JM gets 5. I spring a passage on JM every time we do one of these episodes. He doesn't quite know what's coming. So this episode and the next few might get a little dicey. Maybe a little spicy is the better word. We're gonna look at some of the spicier, maybe X-rated passages in Scripture. So
parental advisory warning.
Yeah,
put the label on there.
That's right. We have to do that. So all right. If you're watching, I'm going to throw the text on the screen. JM's going to see it for the first time along with you. Here it is. Today we're looking at Deuteronomy 25:11. That's our verse. JM, you may be familiar with this one. I will read it in English. This is a wild passage. If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant, and she reaches out and seizes him by his privates or his private parts, and you shall cut off her hand, show her no pity. That's verse 12. So what a wild verse. JM, you want the first question on this, or you want me to take the first question?
Let me hear. I would like to, I don't mind. I have done a video on this passage, so
you have. All right.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of a head start then.
I know the lay of the land, and I know what questions people have about it. Well, I'll throw the first one out. My first question is, was this a thing that is known to have happened? Because I have seen and been around many fights, as a martial artist, and not once has this ever been a tactic that I have seen a third party come in and employ in a combat situation. So I would want to know, was this a normal occurrence? That's my first question.
Wow. So let's see. I'm curious about this word mavosh. So bumavushe, something like that. But mavosh, it's glossed as genitalia, or private parts, or male genitals, or his privates. Bush, mabush, which is kind of funny in itself. Some wordplay there. So, what, is this referring to testes? Is this referring to the whole shebang? What is, what is this? Like, what part of the groin area?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just looking at Hallett, by the way, I think this is a Hopex. I think this is.
That's right. It is. It is.
So this is not the normal Hebrew word for any of those body parts.
One of the glosses it gives is literally the part that excites shame. So it's interesting because you do have the Hebrew word bosh.
Yeah,
right?
bosh, shame. Yeah.
Shame. Here you have mavosh. So clearly it seems connected to that. But yeah, what part are we talking here?
Yeah. My question would be, so let's see. So what you read NIV, right?
Yeah. NIV.
2 men are fighting is what NIV had. I think that's right.
Yeah. Yep. 2 men. If 2 men are fighting.
I would want to know what, because I'm looking at the text and let's see, that first word, if they are fighting, yanatsu, and that's the form of the word natsa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, it's not a usual word for like, I don't know. I don't know if it doesn't. I don't think it's the usual word. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just one of the words for fighting. I'm looking at it, appears a few times. But I would want to know, what kind of fighting is this talking about? Is this talking about argument, like two guys in an argument, two guys like throwing down? Because it can be a quarrel, it can be a fight. I think in Arabic, how it has it related to an Arab cognate that means to grab by the scruff of the neck. So again, what I mean, a lot of these questions that we have, I think, are going to center around word studies. But
yeah, exactly.
When it's a weird passage, that's kind of usually the first place to start.
Yeah.
So yeah, what kind of fighting? What kind of fighting is this that's taking place?
That's a great question. Yeah, I'm curious. It says, and the wife of one of them comes to rescue. Like where's she coming from? And I guess maybe I'll do a double question here. Where's this fight taking place? And where is she coming from?
Mm-hmm.
In the house? Is she like sitting on the sidelines in the bleachers watching? Like, where's she at when it starts? And is she see her man starting to lose, and so she jumps in the ring and she gives a little, maybe not a little squeeze, but a big squeeze? Like, what, where is she coming from? Where is this?
Right. I'm trying to scan back and forth between the Septuagint as well, just to see. So when it's come to these weird passages, that's one of the things that we do is like look at Septuagint and see how because they had to wrestle with these things too. But sometimes if it's an idiom or something, you may be able to tell. The Septuagint, yeah. So
we can add the Septuagint up here.
The Septuagint, the Nets, the New English translation says, now if men get into a fight together, a man with his brother and the wife of one of them comes in to rescue her husband from the hand of the one who strikes him, and extending her hand should seize his twins. And then they have it like a little in a note that just says testicles. But I was looking at the Greek to see if it's the word twin.
That's where Thomas Didymus gets his name from, by the way.
Yeah, Didymon.
Interesting.
So is that my I guess my third question is a Septuagint question. Is that a normal euphemism in Greek for your testicles is the twins?
Wow. So funny. Who would have thought? Wow, yeah, that's great. Huh. Interesting. I gotta admit, I've never spent time on this passage, so
there's your next paper topic, man.
Yeah.
The twins.
So I'm curious. I'm really curious about that man's line shall be known. I'm just curious about the context. Like what in the world is the surrounding context of this passage? And I'm going to have to bleed into verse 12 here. It says, you shall cut off her hand and show her no pity. I'm really struck by that. Is the cutting off her hand because she touched the gins, or is the cutting off her hand because she broke up the fight? Why the cutting off her hand for grabbing the twins? Yeah, like it's that seems a little out of balance. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems beyond the lex talionis.
Yeah, exactly.
Eye for an eye. This seems well. That'll set up my fourth question then, knowing that there is that lex talionis eye for eye concept, and this does seem to go far past it. Is that actually what this punishment is saying? Because it doesn't say in Hebrew, and you will cut off her hand. It says, and you will chop or cut or trim her palm. It uses the word kaf for palm or hollow, or kaf has other meanings, but it's not yad. It's not her hand.
Right.
At least in Hebrew. In Greek, I think it is hand, but in Hebrew, it's palm. So it's a strange, again, another part of this text that's a strange wording rather than just the straightforward.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah. That's kind of interesting. Wow. So in the Septuagint we have the word machome, which just means to quarrel, but it reminds me of the weapon, the machera. That's the fighting with a weapon. So I don't know that that's implying this, but I am noticing that. Yeah. I'm curious, and I don't know, are these two men related? You know, when I look at the previous verse, it's talking about the man's line, the family of the unsandaled. Are these men related? Does that have something to do with why the penalty seems so strict? I don't know. That's my fourth question.
Yeah, is achi literal brother, or is it the phrase like fellow countrymen? Yeah, because it does say brother in Hebrew. That's a good
It does say
observation.
brother in Greek as well. Anthropos metatu adelphuavtu. A person with his brother. So yeah, is this a relative?
Yeah. Yeah, my last question would I would want to know again, it'd be the second part of that phrase. So if you will, whatever you will do to her palm, not you will show, not you will pity in your eyes. So that stock phrase of not being partial or sparing. Then how do we translate the first? How do we translate the verb? Is it cut off? Because you can't cut off someone's palm. I mean, you can cut off somebody's hand, but you can't cut off their palm. And so, is that the best translation? If we translate that as palm, is that a euphemism for something else? To cut, trim, or shave one's palm, and since it all has to do with shame, like you noted. Is this really about like literally mutilating somebody, or is there something else happening that we may not even have the exact we may not even know exactly what's happening, but it's a stock phrase or it's something that's common at the time? Is that what we're seeing here? Like boiling a kid in its mother's milk? Like, is there some other type of connotation that would have been known that we're missing? So that'd be my last question.
Yeah, mine is similar. Because even when I'm looking at the Greek, you know, the NIV translates the Hebrew, the tachos enecha, as show her no pity lo tachos enecha. And then in the Greek, it's much wordier. U fisete ophthalmosu epapte. The Greeks like do not so fisete, like shine or to look favorably upon. So it's kind of like don't let your eye look favorably upon her. So it comes back to the genitalia word, like shame. Now, yeah. So I'm curious. In the Hebrew, I guess it does come a little closer to say, do not have compassion. Do not have compassion with your eye.
Yeah,
your eyes. Who? Man, I just have so many questions.
Yeah.
Who is the you, and who is this command being issued to? So right, you shall cut off her hand. Well, who shall cut off her hand? The dude she grabbed? Some other party? You know, some official? Who shall do the cutting of the palm or the hand or whatever? Who is this? That's about the first part of my question that's doing this. And then the qualifier of show her no pity seems like a bad translation to me. Do not look brightly upon her with your eye or something like that. Do not let your eye look brightly upon her. Um,
Mm.
oh man.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
tricky it's a thorny translation. And it's compounded too by just another observation. This isn't even a question. Just in Greek, in the Septuagint, it's cut off the hand. There's not her hand as in Hebrew, it's her hand.
Yeah.
But unless I'm missing something in Greek, it's just the hand. Which,
Yeah.
you know.
The hand of her. It does say that. The hand of her.
Did you have of her? Because I don't see of her.
Yeah, avtes comes after hira.
Yeah. Oh, not in the not in whichever Septuagint I have. You have Rolf's or
I have THOT. I forget which one that is.
I wonder. I just did a video on Septuagint versions and was talking. You know, so this might be one of the differences between like Rolf's and Sweets. And,
so
yeah.
Now I'm curious. Hand is interesting too. Could there be something maybe not just euphemistically, but like, like this dude's my right hand man, he's my right hand. I'm wondering if the brother she grabbed, was he like a right hand, man, and now she'll cut off her right hand, that kind of thing, her right hand man, or I don't know. So I always love exploring that kind of thing. Is there something else going on here?
But we're not allowed to answer.
No.
But that's a good question to ask about this phrase in particular and euphemism for female genitalia. That's all I will say. It's based on what is out there on this passage.
Interesting. Because even in the Septuagint, that apokalpsis really has the idea of making a eunuch or castrating or emasculating, not really cutting off. I mean, I know emasculating is cutting off, but it seems, apokolpto. This is the related word, talking about like circumcision and stuff later in the New Testament. That kopto, it's where we get our word copter from, like is in helicopter. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah. Well, man, this is amputate. That's another cut loose. Some fascinating stuff here. I don't know. I love that the very next verse, 13, we're talking in 11 and 12 about the twins, the testes, and then 13 is like, do you have two differing weights in your bag? One heavy, one light. And then two differing measures, one large, one small. It's just kind of funny. You have to wonder if that was on purpose. I mean,
that's funny. Hey, I just pulled it up, and there is a discrepancy between Sweet's Septuagint and Rolf's. So the Vaticanus, Codex Vaticanus, does not have her after hand, but Rolf's does. So that's an interesting little text critical nugget to factor in.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Huh. Well, interesting. Well, man, what a passage. Wow.
Yeah, good choice.
So, ladies, I guess next time if you're ever in a Walmart parking lot and you see
don't grab fight, the twins.
just instead of grabbing the twins, grab your groceries and your kids and move on. Wow. Yeah. Well, Jay, thanks for your time. Some interesting stuff to think about there.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. So this is scripture, man. Scripture's fun. Look at this.
Yep.
These hidden gems. Yeah. Well, yeah, everybody check out Disciple Dojo. Head over and check that out on YouTube and the website and all kinds of great stuff there. Head over to glossahouse.com. Some great stuff going. We just are launching our Gloss House U, which is we're like doing an online learning platform. So we're excited about that. Number of new resources coming out. Actually got a text criticism resource coming down the pipe next week. It'll launch. And a couple new books. Charlie Starr's Sacred Screaming, What to Do When Your Problem is God. It's going to be a cool little book. And then we have another one on the theology of Tolkien. So, yeah, some really, really great stuff coming down, man. So, you guys check that out. Share the podcast. Help us spread the word about this. We'd really appreciate it. Head over and check out our YouTube channel as well, or glossahouse.com. All right, JM, thanks for your time, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Always.
All right. Thank you all for watching, listening. Take care until next time. We hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.